Hi guys. Today's video is pretty cool and exciting. You all know that I've been dealing with lameness issues with Lindy, and I've kind of exhausted all options as far as veterinarians go, chiropractors, massage therapists, farriers, just other friends and stuff, knowledgeable friends, and it's like we can't really completely figure out what her deal is. So I was on I'm a member of a horse forum online, and I was kind of just surfing around on it the other day, and I saw a lady post about an animal communicator. And she rescued a mare that has a lot of behavioral issues and whatnot. And so she decided to speak with this lady about her horse, and this lady pinpointed her mare to a T and just knew things that only that lady and the mare would know. And so I just felt that it was legit, and I thought it was really cool. So I contacted them. She works for a big vet clinic in Virginia. So I thought if she works for a vet clinic, obviously she has to be somewhat, professional and legit, or else they wouldn't want to be associated with someone that wasn't. So I just felt good about it. So I called the vet clinic and made an appointment, and I called on Monday, and I got it on Thursday, so 2 days ago, because today's Saturday. And kind of just, all you do is you email her a picture of the horse or whatever animal. She does other animals, cats, dogs, bunnies, birds. I mean, she does everything. And you just email her a video of your animal, and they have to have both eyes looking at the camera. So they have to have a clear picture of both eyes looking at the camera. And that's all the information she had. I didn't tell her gender, name, history, nothing. I mean, literally no information. So as soon as I wrote, like as I was on the call with her, it's a 30-minute call, I wrote everything down that her and I kind of went over. Sorry, the reflection of my computers and my glasses. On my laptop. So I kind of wrote down like all the highlights of the conversation so that I could look back and remember it, and also so that I could remember everything to put in my video right now. So it was very interesting. It gave me goosebumps. It made me cry. It was definitely worth the money, and something that I will for sure be doing again in the future, whether that be with Lindy again, with other horses that I ride or buy, or other animals that I have. My next question that I wanted to ask this lady was, does she do animals that have passed? Because I grew up with, I think I was about 5 years old when I got my first animal, and my mom and dad bought me and my sister a kitten, and she just was always like the sweetest, most perfect, loving little cat ever. So she meant a lot to my entire family, and I would love to like somehow try to communicate with her, just because she's constantly in my dreams. Like I always think about her and see her in my dreams, and so like I know that she's there, if that makes any sense. Like I'm sure there are, communicators or psychics, mediums, whatever you want to call them, out there that aren't legit, and, they just try to take people's money. But to me, it's definitely a real thing, and there are people that really have a talent and that can, communicate with past people, or like this type of a thing with Lindy who's living, to me is more like telepathy. But either way, it's super cool. So I would love to do it in the future again, and actually the funny part is they told me to write down questions that I had whenever I called. So I wrote down kind of just some like vague, like basic questions, like I didn't really know what to ask, and she answered all of them before I even got to really say anything, which was neat. So it was almost like she was reading my mind too. Weird. Which I'm sure is probably possible. I kept thinking that the whole call. But anyway, so then after I had the phone call, I thought of all these questions, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to call back, because now once I kind of saw what it was like and like knew how she did it and everything, then I like thought of all these questions. So I definitely want to call back, even in like another couple months, and which she gladly, she suggested, And so now I can't wait to see Lindy again because Lindy said really nice things about me. But anyway, so I'll go through the list on my laptop and kind of share with you some of the things that she went over and that she was receiving from Lindy, and it's interesting. Hopefully you find it as interesting as I did. First off, she starts with going through their body, and she kind of starts at their head and works her way down to any pain or soreness issues that they have. So I'm not going to roll into that, but she just, kind of went down different areas of her body that she was having issues. And it all made sense to me based on how she moves, how she reacts to being tacked up into the saddle being tightened. There's certain areas on her that I'll touch, that she reacts, kind of jerks away or whatever, that I know it's sore. So everything she said made complete sense. And let's see here. And she said that she's not trusting of new people, and she tries very hard to be a very agreeable, kind horse, and that Lindy feels like she could outsmart anybody she wanted to, but she chooses to be kind. And to me, that's extremely true because she's a very easy horse to train. She's very smart. And there have been times where she'll kind of start to get a little bit frustrated with me or something, or whoever's working with her, and then she'll all of a sudden you see her tone it down, and she's like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna freak out or be mean. And it's so true. So that just kind of was funny to me. And she said she has a very sore back left fetlock or hock that from an old injury. And she said she doesn't like it when the farrier hikes that leg up because it hurts and the muscle starts spasming. And the funny thing is, that's always the leg that she has issues with when the farrier does her, and she constantly tries to slam it back down to the ground and drop it, and the farrier will get frustrated with her and stuff. So that makes complete sense now. And then she said, do you have issues with her front left? And I thought, oh my god, here we go. This is the foot that we have had issues with. That is where she's always lame. That's where all these lameness issues come from. And I said, yes. And I said, we can't figure out what the lameness issues are from. And she said, well, she had an old injury where she tore her suspensory ligament. And she said she needs to be ridden and exercised and turned out more, and that will help her. And I said, okay, so that's, and I mean, she even went down to the detail of there was a sesamoid bone, let me see if I can find it here, front left fetlock, there was a sesamoid bone that may have fractured inside a long time ago, and that's what's then caused this ligament to the suspensory to be injured and has caused all of this. And as she's getting older, it's getting worse, and with more exercise and movement, she does better. And so I thought, okay, well then we just need to adjust, her turnout. And I started asking a little girl that I've given lessons to and that boards a horse there and stuff to start riding her twice a week for me when I'm not there. And so hopefully, we can notice a difference with just those few things that will help her. And she just kept going on and on and on about how sweet Lindy was, and she was the sweetest, nicest, most beautiful personality, and that she wishes she could have her in her barn, and she just said things that it's she just pinpointed her personality. Lindy is one of the sweetest horses I've ever worked with and that I've ever owned, and she said that she loves kids and that she's really good with kids, which is very true. Lindy is not that she's bad with adults, but she'll just give you a little bit more sass, a little bit more attitude. And with kids, she's I would trust her with my 1.5-year-old to walk off by himself right now riding her. She's just very good with kids. I've given lessons on her before lots of times, and she just handles it, like a gem. So I thought that was really cool. And then she said, where is Phoebe? Which gave me goosebumps because I never mentioned anything about Phoebe or that I bred Lindy, and Lindy thinks that Phoebe died. She thought that she died, and that's the only reason why she's no longer around, which she didn't. I just sold her. And apparently she said that she thought she either was pregnant or she thought she was pregnant at some point, whether that be when I've owned her or previously. And she lost the baby or just, wasn't actually pregnant. And she mourned that baby. So then when I bred her and she got pregnant with Phoebe, she was very happy and was very happy to be a mother and enjoyed being a mother and felt she was a very good mother, which she was, so that was cool to know. And so then I asked the lady, I said, I do plan on breeding her again someday. And this lady said, well, Lindy would be happy with that, but she wants to have more years of ride time with you before you would choose to do that. So that kind of made me smile. I was like, oh, here we go. Let me see here. And she said that she loves me and she knows that I tell her I'm going to keep her forever, which just there again gave me goosebumps, because it's like I tell her I love her every time I'm at the barn, every time before I leave, and I always tell her that I'm going to keep her forever and that I'm never going to sell her. So that just kind of hit home with me, and I was like, oh my god, like that lady there, she would not know that I tell Lindy that. I mean, how would you know that? So it just was like, wow. And then she said she misses an old lady with short gray hair that has a limp. And I thought, I don't know who that is, because there's no one that, like, she's known since I've had her that, matched that description. So I contacted the girl who I'm very good friends with that originally broke and trained Lindy. And I knew that her mom, they share a barn together and they're into horses together. And her mom just loved Lindy. She was upset that they sold her. So I said, does your mom, like I knew she had short grayish hair and she was older. And I said, does your mom have like a limp or like a bad hip or something? And she said, oh my gosh, yeah, she just had to have hip replacement surgery. And I was like, oh my god, this is getting creepy. So I said, well, apparently Lindy misses your mom, which she just laughed because she's used animal communicators before, she said. And so then the lady that I bought her from those people, and she lived in about 4 hours away from me, and she said, Lindy wants you to know that she's happier with you than she is with the lady that I bought her from, because she said she just threw her out in a field with a really dark horse that she didn't like. And I was like, oh, okay. So the other day, I'm looking at the chick that I bought her from. I'm looking at her Facebook page to see if she had any old pictures of Lindy. I found a picture of Lindy in the field with a dark bay horse. And I was like, I had like goosebumps everywhere. I mean, what the hell? So it just was creepy, and I was like, well, okay, so that's true too, and I didn't even know it. So that was cool. And she said she wants you to know that she's really happy at the barn that you have her at, and she really likes the light-colored horse. And I thought, light-colored horse, they don't really turn her out with anybody. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, like, there's a lady that just brought a horse there about 3 weeks ago, put him in the stall right next to Lindy, and he's a Palomino. And they scream for each other all the time, they nicker at each other, they touch noses over the stall door, and I was like, oh my god. So there again, how would this lady have known that? And she said that she trusts me a lot and that she feels very brave when I'm on her back, which kind of made me laugh. And she said that she absolutely hates flies and bugs and they make her lose her mind, which is so totally true. Lindy is such a drama queen. She absolutely hates flies, which has kind of always annoyed me because she gets so dramatic about it and it's like ridiculous, so that cracked me up too. And she said, did she founder at some point? And I was like, oh my god, there again, never have mentioned that anywhere, like. And I said, yeah, she has. And she said, well, both of her front feet look really good. And she does not have any pain or soreness there. And I said, okay. So I thought, okay, well, we're good there, but I'm still going to keep her on the diet that she's on, just to be safe, on the safe side. And then she said that she had previously had a horse that had a suspensory injury, and she had a specific way that she shod him, and it completely helped him, and he was sound, you know, the day after until he died. So I thought, okay, well, I'm trying a new farrier, and I have him coming this coming Monday. And actually, when he looked at Lindy a couple weeks ago, what this lady said was what he suggested to do, which I thought was cool. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I mean, I'm gonna at least give it a try and hope that it helps. So, she said that she misses me and that she would like to ride with me more, which kind of like broke my heart because I feel the same way. You know, once, twice a week just isn't enough because I was used to going 5-6 days a week, so, but that's how it has to be right now, so, you know, but that kind of like made me upset. But anyway, so the little girl that I have riding her, she rides her like once, twice a week, and she kind of like, she has like a lot of horses there that she rides because her aunt and uncle own the barn, so she kind of just goes and like helps them with whatever horses and stuff. So she kind of tends to like rush through it, and she doesn't really groom very much. She just gets on and goes. And Lindy's one that really likes to be groomed. Like, I've always done that. I've always taken my time grooming her. I mean, I take a good 20 minutes to groom and tack up, sometimes more than that. And then I always lunge her for a good 5-10 minutes. I always walk her for a good 5-10 minutes. Like, I just really like to give her time, especially with her on and off lameness, to really warm herself up. And so I asked this lady, I said, does Lindy like the girl that's riding her? And she said she likes her, she's sweet with her, she's gentle with her, but she feels she rushes through things and needs more time. And that just cracked me up because I was like, that is so true. I don't know for sure that this little girl does that, but it wouldn't surprise me. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to say, you know, hey, can you just like take your time, like really groom her out good, like give her a little bit more time to warm up and stuff, and then we'll be good to go. So that kind of cracked me up. And she said that Lindy feels that she knows me very well and that I am her person. She said she's never bonded with another person like she has me, which is just crazy because I obviously feel the same way about her. I've had how many other horses? I've sold all of them. She's the only one that I've never, ever, ever thought of selling or wanted to sell. And so that just like meant the world to me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then this is what made me cry. She said that she misses me and she wants to come home, and she knows and hears me talking about bringing her home, and she's waiting for it, and she knows that it's going to someday happen, and she's patiently waiting for that. And I like lost it because I was just like, I remember sitting in her stall and having these conversations with her and telling her that I love her and that I'm trying very hard, you know, for us to be able to buy our own place and to bring her home and for me to be the one that takes care of her. And it just, I mean, I specifically remember certain times of sitting in her stall telling her this. And there again, that was between me and Lindy. No one else would have known that that conversation went on or that I tell her that. So that was just like, oh my god, like creepy, but cool. And it's like a weird feeling. You're like creeped out, but it's really cool. And so that was just like what made me like lose my cool, you know. And I just cried and I thought, oh my god, this is so for real and this is so neat. And you know, this horse just validated basically the reason why I keep her. And so I just thought it was super cool. And I just wanted to share my story with you. And if anyone wants to use this animal communicator, you can send me a message on Facebook. I will link my Facebook name down below, and I can send you her name. I definitely think that it's worth the money, it's worth the time. This lady is definitely legit, and I suggest it and have been telling everyone about it to do it, so it's super cool. But anyway, that is all I have for today, guys. I do appreciate you watching my videos, and I will see you next time. Bye!